So yesterday we had the Made by Google event. At least it's yesterday by the recording of this video. And I know I'm late, compared to other YouTubers. And my impressions of the event in general was honestly meh. Yeah, it was just like I would say all of Google's events lately. I would say for the past 2, 3 years has been software based, like mostly software. It's mostly been just AI and less about the actual hardware of the device. In fact, I don't remember them even talking about the hardware device. That apparently is now, I can't say it is now Google strategy. That's been Google strategy for quite a while. They're leaning into the strengths, which is the software. So by the end of this video, I will let you know if and what Pixel device that I pre-ordered. Okay, so I'm looking through my notes about what was covered, and it was very short. I was surprised. It was maybe 30 minutes. I don't know. It felt like well under an hour. But I have some notes and maybe some highlights that we got from the event. Number one, only thing worth mentioning, and they didn't spend a lot of time on it, was the new Tensor G5 chip, because it's not going to be groundbreaking as far as performance issues. Every report basically is saying that it's not going to compete with the latest Snapdragon chip, which is fine, but it's, to us in this little community, we know that it, it's more of a signal of bigger, better things to come, as this thing is just more geared toward like maybe AI models being ran like on device. So we're not looking for crazy performance actually, but I am hoping for better battery life. That is one of the things I'm hoping for. And so the Tensor G5 chip that is in all of the new Pixel 10s that was released. So excuse me, but I'm looking through my notes here. So power for TPU, it says 34% faster the CPU in the G4. So they're doing the Apple thing where they're comparing their tech to last year's tech instead of to other competitors. Seems to work for Apple. They kind of put their foot on it and said that they have the best front camera in a smartphone, period. One of the features that they debuted was voice translate. I believe they said they were going to do this last year or something. So they showed, I think Jimmy, what's his name? Jay Fallon. They show the guy on a phone with somebody, they're speaking, and the other person speaking Spanish. And Google, I don't know if it's a clone of their own voice, trained with AI voice, or is it just a generative AI voice stocked by Google? But basically, when she talked to him, you have to set it up into going into English and I think going to Spanish on his end. But when she talked to him, it came out. You heard her voice, and then you heard it translated to Spanish, and then the reverse to him, where he speak English, and it was reverted to, and it translated into Spanish, and it's happened pretty quick, like on the device. So that was impressive. I admit that was pretty good. They promised something similar, I believe, in the Google glasses. So we'll see if that's going to happen. They talked about new features that Gemini is going to be able to do. One of which was the the photo app when taking pictures. They show one to where like if you're taking a photo of someone and Gemini will be able to direct you to take the best photos. I don't know when I'm going to use that. Maybe I use it once or twice, but honestly, you're going down here, keeping your subject in perfect alignment. So that might be helpful for some people, especially you're really getting into personalized photography. The other feature that I'll note, again, this is not like all in order, and I might not remember all the things. I just remember what kind of just stood with me. There's a photo editing app. Well, this is in your Google Photos. So it's going to come to Google Photos. I don't know if this is a time exclusive. Basically, the example they had was a guy who had a picture holding a bag, and you told Gemini to remove the bag, and it's doing this in the cloud. So it goes up, however long it takes, comes back. Here's the photo, the missing item. So you can edit your photos. So this looks like this is something, the editing itself, I don't think is groundbreaking. These things you could do already in the photo app manually, but maybe Gemini can do it better. The selling point is that it can understand what you're trying to do and go out and achieve it. So that's something. They also talk about the Pixel Journal, and this is an AI is going to provide like writing prompts They offer insights into patterns and progress over time. So I believe this is learning you, just like all the AI models. And of course, they unveiled the actual phones, the Pixel 10 Pro and the 10 Pro XL, as well as the 10 Pro Fold. Yeah. So they unveiled all the pixels, the colors, and there's not much differentiating them that much. If you want the most premium, then you will go for the Pro. I don't think there's much difference between the Pro and the Pro software wise. I know with my Pro, there were a few software features that were limited to the Pro. I think the RAM size, I believe the base 10 has 12 and the Pros have 16 gigabytes, but all of them have the triple camera, even the base with the telephoto. One of the last things I wanted to go over was the new charging method. Now, Pixel phones have been able to charge for years, but now we got, what do they call it? MagSafe for Pixel. Was it Pixel Safe? They made it a point. They called out Apple at least twice in this event. One was obviously a shot at their walled garden. The other was basically saying that there's a cube charger, so there's like a magnet within the phone. And if you have an Apple accessory, actually, hold on. Okay, so if you've been on the channel, you know, yes, my primary phone is an Android, is a Pixel, always, but I do have an iPhone. This is the iPhone Mini. I did like the small form factor of this thing. But basically, even though you can't see it, there's a little magazine there, and this is a little magnetic puck. So while yes, if you put this right, this might charge, but not the same. Here, on the other hand, let's see, that's what we're getting with the new Pixel 10s. And this should work on the Pixel 10s. Like if they're selling their own devices, of course. Now you already have MagSafe devices and accessories. Google says you should be able to pair it right to your phone, just like that. And there were some more things about the AI video generator. And there were a few more things such as Stephen Curry talking about the Fitbit, how that's getting a little bit of an update. But honestly, I covered everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I'll end with this. So you saw my community post. I did pre-order a Pixel 10, and surprisingly, I went with the base model. Now that might be like, yeah, a lot of people gonna go to base model. I have been on whatever is the biggest phone since the 3. I got the 3XL, and I didn't get the 4 or the 5, but I went for the 6 Pro. But they stopped it for years after the 4. They stopped with the XL. There was no XL on the 5. So then I got the 6, and then I got the 6 Pro, and then I got the 8 Pro, and I really wanted to go for the 10 Pro XL or the 10 Pro. I'm making myself go with the 10 for basically 2 reasons. One, there's not a lot of differential hardware between the phones, unless we're talking about the Fold. And it was hard. And I even went with the one I thought was ugly, like the lemongrass version. So that should be coming next week. The other thing is, it's just the price drop. So when I looked up how much, because I considered selling my Pro on the market before Google event, I'm glad I didn't, because the trading value that they're offering for the Pro is probably more than I would get on the open market anyway. But basically, just how much these phones drop in prices just within a few months. And it's a $200 difference between the base and the Pro. So I think Google's giving me about $500 for my Pro, and just budget wise. And I thought, okay, then I would pay another $500, which is what I did, I believe, for the Pro. But when I finally paid that off, and I looked and saw just how much the price dropped on the Pro, I was like, this ain't a smart idea, by the way, is that I will eventually get a Pro, maybe the regular Pro or the Pro XL, depends how much I miss the larger screen size. But I would just wait until later. Maybe I'll wait until the 10A comes out, and then by that point, hundreds of dollars would have dropped on the regular Pros, and then, might get the phone I want. But that's going to do it for today. Tell me, what did you think of the Made by Google event? Were you impressed? Were you disappointed? And did you pre-order any of these phones? Are you waiting for reviews? That's going to do it for today. Summons Pro. Take care.